2 weeks since 15 miners were trapped in an illegal coal mine in Meghalaya's East Jaintia Hills district, there is no news yet of these men. A 70-member NDRF team is working night and day, but rescue operations have been severely hampered by the lack of efficient pumping equipment.
आज भी एनडीआरएफ मुस्तैदी से साइट पर दिन रात यहाँ जुटी हुई है। कुछ क्षण पहले ही अभी हमारे डाइवर्स ने नीचे से वो ऊपर आए हैं और उन्होंने सतह का पानी का जायजा लिया है। पानी की सतह में कोई बदलाव नहीं है जैसा कि ये कल था।
In fact, rescue operations had to be halted due to lack of adequate equipment. The centre and the state government are being roundly criticised for not providing enough support to rescue teams.
मैं आपको बताता चलूं, पिछले 3 दिनों से पंपिंग का काम बंद है क्योंकि पहले जो पंप लगे हुए थे वो उतने असरदार नहीं साबित हुए। लेकिन इसके बावजूद भी एक अच्छी बात यह है कि पानी की सतह में कोई वृद्धि नहीं है।
In fact, parallels are now being drawn to the Thailand cave rescue. Earlier, in July this year, the Thailand government made headlines worldwide after they successfully rescued 12 schoolboys and their football coach. The coach and the team were stuck in a flooded cave for 13 days. The Thailand government drummed up international support, brought in 40 high-intensity pumping machines and expert cavers for the rescue. As 15 families await news of the missing men, Mirror now asks, why have our governments been found wanting? Why weren't necessary equipments brought in to rescue the trapped miners? Don't the lives of 15 miners count at all for the state and the central government? Let's debate.
Yes, and those are our questions tonight here on the Urban Debate. Good evening and thanks for joining us. But viewers, there is no life, there is no value for life in our country. Definitely not when it's the life of a poor man. Definitely not when it's the life of a labourer. And this tonight is the biggest living proof of that. For 14 days now, 15 miners, 15 labourers working in a mine in the East Jaintia Hills of Meghalaya have been trapped inside. 14 days. That's 2 long weeks with no food, no water, no communication. We don't even know if they have proper air to breathe down there. And we are barely attempting to even save them. We seem to have lost all hope. And our authorities are working in the worst possible Sarkari way. There has been no alarm bell that has been rung by either the state government or the central government. There has been no ruckus that has been created by the state that we need help, that this is an emergency situation, that we are unable to save our citizens. 14 families have been waiting there day and night for somebody to come to them with some good news. That's not happened. 70 NDRF, the National Disaster Relief personnel, have been sitting there, helpless, because we don't have the equipment and we don't care. Unfortunately, that's the reality of our country. And the fact that this incident is taking place in Meghalaya makes it even worse. For this government, for the BJP that harps so much about focusing on the Northeast, about caring about the Northeast, is this how you treat your own people? 14 people who are trapped there. Why do we not care? Is it because they are poor? Is it because they are just laborers in a small state in the country of India and they don't matter? Or is it because it's an illegal mine where you have failed to crack down on, where you have failed to implement the ban? So you don't want this story to be highlighted. Tonight, we bring to you the story of these 14 workers, their families, and what's going on around that mine in Meghalaya. Let's say good evening to our guests. Hasina Karbi, founder of Impulse NGO Network, joins us this evening. Zarita, lifelong spokesperson for the Congress Party. Arunab Saikia, the Northeast staff writer for Scroll. Mr. B.L. Vora, former DG for Civil Defence. And Ramakant Gaur joins us this evening. He's a lawyer. But first, I'm going to go across to Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh of the BJP. Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh, what is it that the government has done to try and save these people and rescue them from that trap?
Well, Tanvi, this is a very, very unfortunate mishaps over there, and we all are in a deep crisis situations, and our government is really trying their best to do the rescue operation, and initial measures have been taken. The first is NDRF team have been rushed over there, and then the Coal India Limited CIL is launched a heavy mobilization of the plant and equipments. The whole problem is there, as you know, that there is a river beside it, and there is a breakage of the wall, and the whole river is flowing into the mining area. So I'm not going to the details of illegal mining or legal mining, but it's a question of precious citizens' life. So the first and foremost things from the government side, we are trying to give as much as support as possible. ONGC have been already is been called, and they are deploying their experts. Coal India Limited, who has recently done a good operation, fantastic operation in Thailand, they are also coming, because we need around 10 numbers of 100 horsepower motors, submersible pumps rather.
Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you right away, because I feel that the answer that you're giving us right now is a waste of our time, is a waste of this nation's time. The answer that you're giving to me right now, Mr. Ghosh, is what you should have told me had I asked you on day one of this tragedy as to what is it that the government is doing, and then you could have listed out how NDRF people have been sent, how Coal India is mobilizing its equipment, how the government is doing the best it can do, how you're treating it like an emergency situation. The fact of the matter is, in 14 days, nothing has happened. The fact of the matter is that for the past 4 days, the NDRF team which is sitting there... No, please, now listen to me. No, you're listening to me. Please don't waste... Let me ask the question. NDRF team which is sitting there hasn't even pumped out the water in the past several days because the equipment they have isn't working right. It's of no use. Lakhs of tons of water has been pumped out, but it is of no use. It's not making any difference on ground. So I don't know what it is that you have done. Why is it that the machines have not been mobilized so far? Why is it that you have not... Yes, explain to me.
You have to understand the crisis part of it.
I have to understand the crisis part of it. When is your government going to understand the crisis part of it? It's been 14 days. The crisis has already peaked.
Let me explain that what is the crisis over there. It is a very intricate situation where there's a rat hole, there is a river flowing inside, and 80-meter deep water. Even these people who are hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so even these people are divers are waiting there until it comes down to 40 feet. Recently, just half an hour back, there was a declaration that water is not coming down. So you don't compare it with other rescue operation because of the mining trap and the rat holes. There is a very critical situation. People cannot go inside until the water goes up to a 40-feet level.
So you can't do anything, basically.
And it is not what government is doing, but at the same time...
So why are you now mobilizing Coal India equipment? Why are you now mobilizing the water pumps, the high-power water pumps that Coal India has now, 14 days later? There is no answer for that. The Chief Minister is treating it like a sarkari file.
SDRF,
that file is going from one office to the other. अभी चिट्ठी लिखी है, वहाँ जाएगी, फिर Coal India decision लेगा, फिर यहाँ पे वो equipment को वहाँ से airlift करेंगे, यहाँ पे आएगा.
No, there is SDRF and NDRF and the state government. Primarily, the state government is taking the charge of the operations. SDRF is also there. State bodies are also there. So they are also trying together, make a team and trying to do it. But because of the very, very intricate problems, very, very critical, the positioning of the entire entire mine. That is why it was declared illegal in 2014. So that is why we always insisted of the illegal mining. We are always taking actions in illegal minings. So
that's why these
that is why the whole
mines are
crisis is
still
there.
running. That's
And it
why
will
these
take some
people are
time until
trapped
the water
inside.
level
Mr. Bhaskar
goes
Ghosh, please.
down. You cannot.
No, Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh, let me go across to some of our other panelists and bring out some more details. Let
But
at
this is
least
not
the
fit for the
nation
mining. This
know
is not fit for
what
the
is the
mining.
situation right now in Meghalaya. And I'm going to go across to Arunab Saikia first. Arunab, give us a sense of the kind of situation we are staring at. Obviously, there is no denying the fact that this is a very, very tricky terrain and a very, very difficult task. But help us understand, how is it that it's been 14 days and nothing has happened?
Look, Tanvi, there are two issues at play here. First of all, the worst of Indian bureaucracy is at display. On December 16th, the DG Mines visited the spot and said that the only way we could possibly pump out this much of water is, having 10 high power pumps of 100 horsepower each functioning at the same time. So those pumps haven't come in. That's obviously that much we all know. But then there's another reason. There's a more structural institutional problem with all of this. For the longest time, the Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad Sangma kept saying on record that there's no illegal mining happening in the state. There's no illegal mining happening in the state at all, and he said that multiple times over the last month and a half. So that essentially points towards, the fact that the government did not take this seriously. The government did not. The district admission should have been more, vigilant because of the recent Supreme Court order which allowed transportation of, mined coal, and that has been, that has been a sore point always, because as soon as there's a new order allowing the transportation of mined coal, there is fresh mining. So this was a stage. This was a time when the government, the administration should have been more alert. But clearly, at the top, the CM said, that there was no mining happening in the first place. So this is where we've come to, from the denial. So, it's important to, it's equally important to address the institutional problems with mining in the state. The fact that the government often turns a blind eye, to coal mining, which is continued, in spite of the ban by the NGT in 2014, and has continued, it has never really stopped, as a matter of fact.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, and as this illegal, unchecked, unabated mining continues in those dangerous hills, we've seen many accidents. Between 2009 and 2014, I was just reading, there have been at least 25 big incidents that have taken place just here. But how does it matter to the government? These lives don't matter. These are cheap lives of laborers. Which government really cares about that?
2012, there was a big accident in the Garo Hills.
Yes. Yes, Aruna.
Exactly. 2012, there was a big accident in the Garo Hills where 15 people died. And for the longest time, the government, no one even knew that accident had taken place. And accidents keep happening all the time. In fact, if you talk to miners, if you talk to people working in the area, they admit that most of the time news doesn't even get out that people have died. So the whole clandestine nature of the business is such that often people don't even know that miners are trapped and they die all the time, and the government conveniently turns a blind eye because that there's a term that that's often thrown around in this part of the world, coal mafia, which essentially denotes a very dangerous nexus of politicians, coal miners, bureaucrats, and police officials, all of who benefit from coal mining.
In fact, often even the journalists who've attempted to go there and write about it have been threatened, have been pressurized, and they've also had to face serious consequences. That's how bold this mafia is, which works in that zone. But first, let's just have a little bit more conversation about this rescue and operation that we are looking at, and the challenges, and whether we are actually ready to even deal with such disaster relief management systems. Mr. Vora, help us understand. I mean, we have about 1,200 NDRF personnel, highly trained, highly skilled. There is a huge amount of money that goes into keeping this NDRF ready with battalions all across the country. But in such a case, we don't even have the necessary equipment. Should we not have sounded off a larger, louder alarm, maybe asked for help from other countries a long time ago?
Ms. Tanvi, first of all, I must thank you for highlighting this issue. Anything happening in the Northeast doesn't get any coverage at all unless something happens in the mainland. North is a totally neglected area of the country. Media, print media, politicians, bureaucracy, nobody bothers. I have served in the Northeast, in Manipur and Tripura, and I know that. Second, this is a case of insensitivity. 15 people after its lives of people involved, and just nobody is bothered. It's a story of incompetence, corruption, inefficiency, anything that you can use. In a country which is boasting to be such a growing economy with a lot of technological innovations, what stops us in these days of fast communications, aeroplanes, this, that, it shouldn't have been difficult to get the sophisticated equipment by now. And it is now. Frankly, if you ask me, I am not very hopeful, though I pray to God that their lives are saved, because so much time has already passed. Of course, NDRF is there, fine, people are experts, but you need machines ultimately.
Yes.
It's always a combination of the man and the machine. If the machine is not there, what the NDRF people can do? For last 3 days, no work has been done. Water level is not going down. It will not go unless you have the pumps. I read somewhere the Chief Minister wrote a letter to Coal India to send pumps. I mean, is it the time to write letters? But they are defending, and it's all illegal mining. It has been going for ages. Everybody is involved. There's a total nexus. Everybody is making money, including politicians, this, that. Human life, as you said rightly in the beginning, has no value at all in this country. And the way it's being treated now, I frankly, let me confess again, saying that this is not there. National Green Tribunals banned it. Rat hole technique is a very old kind of a technique. There was a river around, everybody knew. And this, somebody even said the DG Mines went and he said only smaller pumps are needed.
Yes.
So I think there's nothing but all-round condemnation that is needed for what is being done. If still they can do something fast enough, good. Otherwise, I think we are losing hope. And the tragedies, it has been happening in the past, it will continue to happen in the future.
Yes,
also.
you're absolutely right there. This is happened in the past, and it will continue to happen unless the government, the state and the center wake up. Now, just to put it in perspective for our viewers as well, everybody remembers that big story that came from Thailand, where 12 school boys, footballers, and their coach was stuck, and it became a global story because people and teams and countries from across the world came together to help them out, and it was a very difficult terrain. It was a very, very challenging task, but it was done. Now, just take a look at how the two are being treated. In Meghalaya, 15 workers are stuck in a mine, whereas in that case, there were 12 school boys and their coach. NDRF has deployed 70 or I think 100 people at max right now. 9,000 volunteers were deployed in the Thailand rescue operation. No international help has been sought by our country. In fact, I don't think we've even sought help from beyond Meghalaya and center to the other states, asking them to maybe pitch in. The rescue operation was carried out in Thailand by expert divers and military personnel from US, UK and Thailand. 14 days on in India, in Meghalaya, we are still waiting for the machines to arrive to pump the water out, or else we can't do anything. In Thailand, within 3 days, 40 machines were brought to pump out the water. I don't really have to sit and compare how difficult this terrain is versus that terrain. I'm just trying to show you how the two emergency situations were dealt with by their respective governments. So, Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh, tell me, what is this emergency situation that you're talking about? Because I don't see any emergency. Story. Zarita, I see you. I'm coming to you next.
Even an Indian story. What to talk about?
You're comparing to different.
No, I'm just asking you, the lives of those 12 schoolboys matter to Thailand. These lives of these 15 laborers don't matter to you. Why aren't you ringing the alarm bells and asking for help if you can't do it yourself?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think I can quote unquote that the DG of that entire battalion has told even the divers who are already present there, they are not trained to work in this kind of difficult. And NDRF itself is telling that it is one of the most difficult rescue operation NDRF has taken so far. So it's a very critical situations. It is no dearth of initiative or no dearth of any attitudes towards the rescue operations. It's a question of the
sir, just
criticality
answer
because
one thing. Where is the
severe
equipment?
rainfall is
Where is
also
the
happening over
equipment to
there
tell us that?
because of the
Yes, where is the equipment?
equipments which is submersible pumps. The Coal India already launched. The Coal India Limited already have initiated and mobilized.
How is it coming? Have you put it on
here,
horse carts?
And anytime it could reach there.
Is
So
it
there's
coming on horse carts?
There is no, but there's no dearth of the. No, not at all. I mean, I don't know exactly in what way they are. I don't have a detail of the rescue operation at the moment, but I can quote unquote the CIL authorities that they are having, they are mobilizing the entire man and machine.
Zarita, if you can hear me.
The weather is very, very hostile weather. It was severe rain.
Zarita, do you buy what BJP is telling us right now, because the terrain is so difficult and that they're doing all that they can? It is being treated as an emergency situation. Zarita, good evening. Can you hear me? Okay. Mr. Gaur, I'm going to come to you next. What's your sense? Is this how a emergency situation in the country, a national crisis, is dealt with?
It is a national crisis. It's a national disaster. That's the reason why National Disaster Response Force has been deployed there. Only issue is, National Disaster Response Force is an agency which has trained, skilled people deployed in it, equipped with a DG rank officer, various IG rank officials, and there is a hierarchy. And they are well trained. When they are making this statement that, see, this is one of the most critical operation they are undertaking, we need to trust their efficacy. This is an agency is working. And it's a highly trained agency in the country. Now, whether we have requisite the foreign aid or not, that's a government issue. So in spite of falling into the politics of it, we need to keep trust on the agency. As far as the practicality part is concerned, but paucity of equipment there is really shameful. The conduct of illegal mining is really shameful. If the government of the day is not looking at the illegal mining, if they are ignoring that illegal mining and that which is leading to the mishaps like the present one, then they are responsible for it. So the situation is an outcome of ignorance, which is a subtle admittance of whatever is happening there. So as far as that part is concerned, they need to introspect. We need to see that 14 lives are saved, and they are saved efficaciously, expeditiously. I don't see the groundwork taking place there. So if there is no groundwork happening, and since 2014, when NGT has put a ban, how come illegal mining is being done? This is something which needs to be looked into.
Right. In fact, let me take that point across to Zarita if she can hear me now. Zarita, if you can hear me now, the question is, have we failed with successive governments not being able to crack down on illegal mining, and then thereby whatever happens in these mines, people get trapped, people die, it doesn't matter to us?
Tanvi, I'll just take 2 minutes of your time. I just need to put a few points through. First and foremost, this is a classic case of Indians especially Indians who belong to the Northeast and are trapped in India. The government of the day has all the provisions to make sure that they get Kirloskar pump to actually go all the way to Thailand and provide them support. But when it comes to the Northeast, they say that it is not possible. The Chief Minister yesterday in a statement says that it is not easy to get these pumps. Well, it is easy. It is not that difficult. And he said that it is very, very, in an isolated area and in a very rural area. Yes, every part in Meghalaya is actually rural, most of it. But it does not mean that it cannot be reached. It is about 70 kilometers from Jowai, 70 to 80 kilometers from Jowai in a 4x4 wheel drive, and a person can actually reach there. It only shows the insensitivity and the irresponsibility of the government of the day. And also, Mr. Bhaskar, he's sitting there and giving us advice about Northeast. How many times have you been there? Have you been to Meghalaya? Do you know what the situation is there? And Tanvi, for your information, the ground report as of now, Kirloskar Pump has already finished their survey. CIL is reaching tomorrow. The administration has already had the meeting with the Kirloskar people. And all this started only after the intervention of Rahul Gandhi's tweet and after he made an effort to find out what has happened there. And Dr. Shashi Tharoor, after he contacted
You want to make that point clear,
and
right?
asked them for their help because they had helped out in the Kerala.
CIL has already formed a 10-member team.
Slightly odd and insensitive, don't you think?
CIL
to try
is
and
reaching
take credit
tomorrow. This is from the ground.
for something that hasn't even happened yet.
CIL already formed 10-member team.
Zarita, can we not make this a political credit fight, please? This is not the point.
Bilaspur, Nagpur and Dhanbad.
It is not about political. You're talking about the government of the day. When you do not allow the government
if it is wrong point against my party,
the government only poses its only main mantra during the elections was to have was to lift the ban of the NGT. What has it done in the last?
Yes, Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh, what is your response to the steps that you have taken to crack down on illegal mining?
No, from the government side, there are, the law have been imposed and there is several actions have been taken by the government.
Okay.
Maybe this mine they are doing, that is why we are looking forward for those person who has supplied the manpower. This is not done under the supervision of the government. This mining was not done under the supervision
of course, it was not done under the supervision of the government. This is illegal mining which is going on.
There was a Congress government. What Congress has done?
Yes, Hasina, I am coming to you only. Allow me to go across to Hasina Kharbi, who can shed some more light on whether or not the current government or the previous government actually took any steps to crack down on this mining. Hasina?
Well, Tanvi, thank you for getting me on this show. The first and foremost, I want to highlight to all the panelists, it is not about which government is going to take action. It is about human life and human right violation that our country has not responded over the last 12 years of our intervention. 7 years of our intervention, we complete 7 research reports that is available in our website, in the Impulse NGO Network website, that has been taken forward to all the commission in the country to actually give directive to the state government to close these mines because it's unscientific in nature. Secondly, being the organization that filed the public interest litigation that each one of you are debating about, it is Impulse NGO Network that filed the public interest litigation with good evidence of a lot of media intervention over the last 8 years of what the ground reality of rat hole mining is. Being a person who have been at that process with my team at the organization, when the NGT ban came in response to our PIL in 2014, it was unfortunate that the lobby of the mine owners and the lobby of the response politician in the state went forward to say that there has been extracted coal that need to be transported before the complete closure. Now, NGT gave a directive after our PIL that these estimate how many extracted coal is there, and there was a time period that was being provided. Unfortunately, that time period got extended till 2018, when the extracted coal that has been the amount of the extracted coal has been given to the NGT was completed 2 years ago, and still fresh mining was taking place. Now, that is something, a big question, that an order by the court has not been respected. In a country where we still believe the utmost of the law is a very important element to protect human rights. Second, the most important part is that in our research report, we have already given the demarcation. We had actually mapped through a GIS mapping that there were 5,000 rat hole pits. That was the one that we did a random sampling. Now, most of these mines require children to be mined because rat hole cannot be mined by any adult. Now, when we got the order, the reduction of the use of children came on board because we got the UN intervention, UN special rapporteur, to give a directive to the government of India on to stop the use of children in the mining. But above that, when this extracted coal, where they were setting on transporting it, got extended, because the former government had approached reopening of the mines before the election, and it continued even after the election, even after the new government, because the entire money that support election comes from the mine in Meghalaya to the maximum. And when we were attacked, when we as an organization was ransacked, when I was attacked, we put forward that this has to stop, but it never stopped. We continue to fight this case in the court, even in the Supreme Court, where our PIL still stand the same way it is. And we have given directive after directive. There was an NGT directive of the appointment of commissioners that supported that the illegal mining was continue even after the ban. That was not respected. That continued to be taken away. There were 24 of these incidences that has happened that Impulse NGO Network has filed in our petition. It never came to light. It never came into discussion. The reason is because the miners or the mine laborers are people from Bangladesh and people from Nepal who are being employed. Their life was never being discussed because it'll bring another political issue in the limelight. But for us as a human rights organization, took that forward non-stop. Today, this is being discussed because there are some local laborers into it. The election is coming. But the fact remains is illegal mining has been going on for 30 years.
Yes.
70 years. That has to be taken into account. 7 years of our intervention, there's enough of document that pit holes mining, the mine that actually had this, this mishap, it's a cross mine. And I think nobody really understood what a cross mine is. A cross mine is a mine that has been abandoned for a certain period of years.
Right.
Because now they cannot use children, they have to use major laborer.
Well,
so
imagine this situation for viewers in our country, that they were using children in these mines, in these death traps. And things have gotten so bad in the last 30 years with this unabashed mining going on that a prominent social activist, Agnes Karshing, was actually seriously injured after being attacked by a mob in the same area. And she was reportedly tracking the route of coal-filled trucks, and she was tracked by a mob, attacked by a mob, because this is how brazen they've become. Arunabh, I want to come to you also on the point that Hasina has raised about this illegal mining, just how it goes on. The fact of the matter is that these are, the working conditions are extremely dangerous. There are absolutely no human rights concerns over here. Workers are made to work in the most difficult and unfriendly conditions.
Right, Tanvi. So grim and unfortunate as it may sound, it takes a big tragedy for the government to even talk about it. So, Meghalaya did not have a mining policy for the longest time. It came up with a mining policy in 2012. That happened after a very similar tragedy had struck in the state, in the Garo Hills, when 15 miners had died. And the NGT order very specifically directs the state government to form a mining policy. It's been 4 years, and a new government's come to power. And one must remember that one of the lies of the NPP, the BJP, actually very expressly promised before the elections that they'd form a mining policy and make coal mining legal again. But again, there's just no mining policy. And at the cost of sounding repetitive, this happens because if you talk to politicians and officials, people do not want a mining policy because illegal mining is much more beneficial, and as Hasina pointed out, it goes into goes into funding elections, and a lot of political affairs are actually funded by elections. In fact, there's a citizen report that came out earlier this month, just before this incident happened, and it detailed on the basis of affidavits submitted by politicians that politicians across the board, across political parties in the state, have great stakes in this industry. So it's very obvious for anyone in Meghalaya or anybody who's been observing illegal mining and the politics around it to see why the state government does not want to clamp down on illegal mining or form a policy.
Yes, and that is the larger aspect that the government will have to look at, that we will continue to question the government on. But more importantly right now is the big challenge that faces us right now. Those 15 lives, those 15 men who are trapped there with their families waiting outside. And every time you speak to the NDRF personnel over there, you realize how even they are feeling helpless because there's not much they can do. They brought in these pumps, they tried pumping the water out. It didn't really help. Now they're just sitting there waiting for hopefully somebody will give them a better machine, better equipment to do something, or they just wait for the water levels to recede. That's the situation. And I keep coming back to it because I am unable to even accept that this is how things function in our country even in 2018, especially under a government, under a central government that harps so much about giving attention to the eastern part of our country. I'm going to go across to one of our viewers on the phone line. Mr. A.K. Banerjee is calling us from Kolkata. Go ahead, Mr. Banerjee. What would you like to say?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Banerjee.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I have been watching your program since beginning, and I was very much concerned about these 15 miners who were trapped inside. And in my service life, I had this experience, and I was in this industry only, and I know what is illegal mining is. But leave aside that, on the humanitarian ground itself, how the 15 miners are allowed, we are left to die in a mine 70 feet deep, where I can vouch for it that nothing less than only the Coal India, who are having establishment in Meghalaya itself.
Yes.
This Margareta and others, Tipong and Lido, all these things, and they must be having the pumps. What you are telling now, that this pump could have been put to this area to pump out the water. And you have lost 15 days, and after 15 days, you are going to drain out this water. Yes, really, I don't know who is to blame for this.
Well, let's ask Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh, because the BJP is allies with the NPP in the state and, of course, at the center, and they run the Home Ministry. NDRF reports to the Home Ministry. Coal India is owned by the government itself. So, Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh, when Thailand can get 40 machines to pump out 400,000 gallons of water, when Kirloskar and from India can send their water pumps all the way to Thailand, why have we taken 15 days to do that in our own country?
See, Mr. Banerjee, I can just quote unquote the CIL officials. They have reported that these submersible pumps are coming from Bilaspur, Nagpur and Dhanbad, the different CIL establishment. And why these pumps was in those establishment and all this thing, that is a logistic problem of the CIL. But on record, CIL has reported that these pumps are coming, and by Thursday, I mean by tomorrow, by today, it must have been reached. By Thursday, 10-member expert team consisting of surveyor and engineers, they are reaching the spot, and these pumps, apart from Kirloskars, the CIL-owned submersible pumps of that capacity has been reaching. So all measures have been taken, initiated, in order to augment and maximize the rescue operations. So there is no dearth of fast action taken or rapid actions taken. At the same time, I just want to answer the earlier questions that what government has done so far regarding illegal mining. After this government has come, after they have banned the illegal mining, and more than 600 crore revenue losses has been imposed on the government, and they have ordered, there's no fresh mining was ordered, and this has been quote unquote Ranjan Mukherjee, one of the government councils. They have told that no orders of the fresh mining have been ordered.
Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh,
the tax,
you do realize when the NGT says ban this mine,
the tax consultative committee have been
please
formed.
come in here.
Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh, you do realize that when the NGT, when the tribunal says ban it, you have to ban it. Now, unless you want to be that kind of a government who doesn't respect the judiciary and the tribunals of this country, you have no option but to implement that order. That's not the point. But if you had actually implemented the ban, Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh, these people would not have gone inside that mine. 20 miners on 13th of December went inside, which means that mining continues.
When a Congress MLA has demanded an arrest,
I know
17 people was arrested because of the illegal mining. That is a limestone mining, but 17 people have been arrested.
Two of our panelists want to come in. I'm going to go across to Zarita first and then to Hasina. Yes, two of our panelists are going to challenge you on those claims. Zarita first and then Hasina.
See, Tanvi, there are a few issues that need to be addressed here. First and foremost, points that Mr. Bhaskar has missed out. Now, if you see, when the district administration had actually written to the state government for help, the exact words were, the request has been sent, it is under examination, and it will be decided whether it is feasible or not, because it might prove to be futile. This was done 10 days back. Okay? So this is what kind of a response the state government gives. Secondly, the Coal India office is in Guwahati. The Coal India headquarters is in Kolkata. What is the Chief Minister doing in Delhi? The Home Minister is still not aware of the situation on ground. The District Commissioner of East Jaintia Hills has gone on holidays, or rather on a sick leave. So we do not know what is exactly happening there. Everybody still seems to be in a Christmas mode there. They're not even interested about the tragedy that has happened there. It is not about mining, about the miners or the mine being legal or illegal. It is about saving those 15 precious lives.
Absolutely.
But the saddest thing is, the Prime Minister comes till Assam to come and inaugurate the bridge and do his photo op, but he doesn't have the time to raise concern. We have a MOS from the Northeast, Mr. Kiran Rijiju. He also does not have a concern. This is the kind of a government of the day we have.
Not even the ministers from the state of Meghalaya. Not even the ministers from the state of Meghalaya have visited.
The northeastern people's lives are not costly. No, it's not costly enough. No. The BJP remembers the northeast only during the time of elections. Let me tell you this.
Well,
that is all they do.
Okay, Zarita, point taken. Although I must just add here that it's not as if your party, when you were in power, did a great lot for the Northeast. If we had in all of those years, then perhaps even that part of our country would have been a lot more developed. And this unabated mining that's gone on in this state or many other states wouldn't have happened. Hasina also wanted to come in. Go ahead, please.
Well, Tanvi, they were talking about question number one. When NGT formed the commissioner to actually check on the violation of illegal mining, that was consecutive, provided input to NGT that illegal mining was going on. So that illegal mining that was going on was being reported. Accident was already being reported, but it was not taken into account in the former government at that point of time. Secondly is that as an organization who have all the mapping, I myself have crawled most of those mines and to have mapping. You could go to our website and see the visual that there are more than 100 meters that are being inside. Now, let me give you a little bit of snapshot what it means to do a rescue operation out there. The entire mining, as you've seen in the picture that you're showing on live right now, always have 4 elements of more than 100 to 200 meters. One pit hole to the other pit hole does not have a demarcation. They would go unauthorized way, unaligned, no mapping exercise. So without a mapping exercise, without any alignment, without any structured alignment, a lot of water seeks in all the time. This water seeking in is not the first time. In the 24 other incidences that already happened, which we had reported to the NGT as well, this was already there. It was never spoken. It's only this time that it's being spoken. Now, even if they try to do any kind of rescue operation, let me give you one aspect. One aspect, the most important part is that when you are going to do a saving out here, there is so much of a zigzag element inside those rat hole mining that even if you try to seek and pump in water from one source, the other source of water will get in. It is constantly going to be on again and again and again because there's no way out that this water can be soaked out of that very easily because they don't have a map at all. The government of Meghalaya do not have a map. You cannot seek in water from one, the water will come in from the other. Please go to our website, see more of those reports that has been done internationally. When we had produced that to NGT, it will show the whole element, how these water are seeking in.
Well,
and the other aspect is
yes,
that these are not the only people who are dying out there. There have been more people. There have been more skeleton of the report that we have given earlier before the NGT.
No, you're right there. This is not the first time. It won't be the last unless and until we are successful in bringing this to a complete stop. I have a question for Mr. Vora very quickly. Mr. Vora, mining happens across our country. Then how is it that we know that often these accidents can be very challenging because you're digging down so deep and then going down vertically and horizontally as well, that we're not prepared with the right kind of equipment? Shouldn't we already have such equipment placed in at least major zones of our country?
We should have. In fact, that is one of the jobs which the NDRF is doing. When I was DG Civil Defense, we had proposed all this. But the point is, see, these mining disasters, even Dhanbad, many years ago, more than 300 people had died. Now, basically, I think it is nothing but sheer negligence, incompetence, the words that harsh words are used. And I think if these people die, God forbid, I think it will amount to murder. And I think all these people should be, heads must roll. They should be arrested. Everybody concerned on that. I think equipment should be there. It is available in India. Kirloskar can go to Thailand. They are just in Bilaspur and Nagpur. How far is Nagpur and Bilaspur? Tell me by air. It doesn't take more than 2 hours to reach the stuff there. So I think it's sheer negligence at all. Absolutely. So yes. I think some harsh measure is required. Maybe Honorable Supreme Court should take suo motu cognizance and take very strong action against the concern. Yes, we are worried about other things, not about human lives and not about Northeast at all. I am sorry to say that.
Yes, and look at the way this was done. You had a chief minister who told us, I think 6 days ago, that we have sought help from Coal India. Let's hope they send the pumps soon. That's the way it was dealt with. We are writing letters to Coal India in the most sarkari way possible, waiting for them to respond and then put these pumps on some train that will travel through the entire network to reach at some point to Meghalaya. And then by then, it's been 14 days. This is the reality. Aruna,
I don't know whether even Chief Minister has travelled to that place.
No, he hasn't.
I don't know whether Chief Minister has gone to that place
No, sir,
at all.
he hasn't. Not the Chief Minister, not the Disaster Relief Minister of the state. Nobody has.
The Chief Minister has not gone to that place. Nobody has visited that place. Nobody has visited. Only the Congress MLAs have visited.
Aruna wanted to come in. Go ahead,
Really
please.
Shameful, absolutely. Why talk of Congress and BJP? Everybody is the same, in fact.
As you pointed out, it is the worst of
people unnecessarily don't bring in politics into all
At least
this.
you know what kind of a government is there, whether the government cares
No, but
or
I
not.
agree with Mr. Vora. I don't
Why
want to get
not bring
into
politics?
a political
That's the
fight
current
here.
government there. We have to see
Yeah,
how
if the
effective
NDRF had
government
the
is.
equipment up till 2014, they would have had it now as well if you had managed to get them that equipment during your tenure. So let's not make it a blame game right now, please. Of course, we are questioning the current government because it is their job, and people ousted the Congress to bring in the BJP to do these very things that the BJP isn't doing right now. Aruna, running out of time, but quickly, 30 seconds to you to make your point, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, as I said earlier, this is the worst of Indian bureaucracy, in display, because the DG Mines had said on December 16th, and, for the longest time, the government sat on that request, examining the request, when they knew that time was in, even as the CM said that time is running out, his government sat on the, on the request. And, unfortunately, the reports are coming in that there's a stench starting to come from the mine. God forbid, but, things look extremely grim at the moment, and probably, we've probably left it for too late now.
Hope is dimming, but we can still continue to pray that a miracle happens and we're able to save these 15 lives. It may not matter to the government, but it definitely does and should matter to the rest of India. Rajesh is on the phone line and he's calling us from Trivandrum. Good evening, Rajesh.
Good evening. Actually, just I am a mining engineer. Just because of enthusiasm, I just call you. The thing is that this is the way of government to treat the miners. Actually, which is actually one of the basic industry of a country, and this is the way to treat. And not even that, each and every person. Whatever you can take food safety, you can take any other thing in this country. The people life, it is just watching this. It is very, very much negligible here when compared to other countries, foreign countries. Here, how they can do it? I am just really shocked to see an accident rate just around having 20 or 25%.
Yes, I am as surprised and shocked and disappointed as you are, Rajesh. Thank you for calling in. Thank you to all our guests for joining in right now. This is all the government should have done on day 2, if not on day 1 of this disaster. Ring the alarm. Say that a disaster has happened, that 15 precious lives are stuck there. It doesn't matter if it is an illegal mine. It doesn't matter if it is in the state of Meghalaya. It doesn't matter if it is lives of poor people. These are lives that should matter to any government. And one cannot help but think, what if some of our ministers had actually visited that place? Would that have changed the attitude of the entire country and the authorities? Would help have reached there faster? What if, like Thailand, 14 days ago or 10 days ago, we had raised the alarm and asked other countries to come and help us because we don't have the equipment or we don't have the necessary skills to do this? Would the situation have been different? What if our Prime Minister had said that this matters, look into this, how is this happening in Meghalaya, find out. Don't you believe the entire country would have woken up right then to help save these people? There are so many what ifs because for the past 14 days, every single day, our governments have failed to do their job, have failed to give this the importance that they should have. We are now being told that the necessary equipment will reach there tomorrow. One can only hope and pray that we manage to save these lives. But this is a learning lesson, viewers, that often we forget a part of our country, a class of our country. And until and unless we stop doing that, we are not going to be able to progress together as our country. These lives matter. They should matter. They cannot be forgotten. Thank you for joining us.